this year, we are actually transitioning. So it's a perfect lead in from autism awareness to Autism Acceptance Month. And one of the reasons why is because awareness is really just the minimum standard. It's the awareness that something's happening. But the reality is that, acceptance is what our folks with autism deserve. Acceptance, understanding, embracing, supporting, loving, caring, all of the things that we know go along with ensuring that a person with differing abilities is treated no different from anyone else. That is what we celebrate this month. And the people who are with us today continue to strive each and every day to make just that happen. They are leaders, not only when it comes to just being leaders in their community, but also leaders when it comes to ensuring that people who have autism continue to be integrated into our society, that they continue to be integrated into our workforce, that they continue to be integrated into every aspect of our daily lives. And we need to strive to create a more tolerant world, a more accepting world, a more inclusive world that appreciates and helps our individuals who have autism continue to thrive in our communities, to make sure that they can have the best when it comes to their abilities to receive a high quality education, when it comes to be able to ensure that they're able to have gainful employment, and whether it's just enjoying and playing, as many of us do in life. And many who do the work, as I said, are here today. I'm going to start with 3 extraordinary organizations, and it's not to say that the others aren't also equally extraordinary. I just get to start with them first. And I'm going to start with, because it's in the name, Partnership for Extraordinary Minds, Executive Director Sue Keisler, and a partnership of many working to improve the educational experiences and outcomes for students with autism here in Montgomery County, and empowers families, students, and educators through their collaborative approach, a true valued resource in our county. We also have with us Director Jen Lin from our Up County Community Resources, UCR. Hey, Jen. And they promote the full inclusion of persons with differing abilities into every aspect of community life. They make sure that they're empowering our young adults to be able to ensure that they have unique opportunities to engage and learn. And so really want to thank them for that. And big shout out to Jake. He might be there, maybe he's not, but if he is, please tell him I said hello. And then of course, Madison House Autism Foundation. And then Jaylen, I'm actually wearing the Madison House pin today. I couldn't find my Autism Speaks one, so I had to choose between the two. So I've got that one. And so president and co-founder of Madison House, whose mission it is to improve the health and well-being of adults on the spectrum throughout their lifespan, enabling them to participate and thrive in their various communities. And Madison Fields, the community-based agricultural and equine resource center, where they're doing job readiness training and education and recreation for people of all kinds of abilities. So it really is great to have these 3 folks that are on the call with us today. I'm going to turn it over to our council vice president, but again, wanted to thank each of you for your great work and what you continue to do. We are a model community. Let me just say that, a model community for what others should hope to have when it comes to ensuring that people with differing abilities are woven into our county's fabric. There's still more we can do. We can make those connections stronger, and we need to do that. But we certainly acknowledge the great work that each and every one of you are doing that has got us to the place where we are today. Mr. Vice President.
Thank you, Councilmember Rice. It is such an honor to join you and our colleagues this morning on Autism Acceptance Month. I love that. That was perfectly well stated, and I think a really important and symbolic transition as we acknowledge our incredible community among us. And I also want to acknowledge 2 folks who are in the audience. Karen Morgret, who is one of the outstanding members of the Commission for People with Disabilities, one of the hardest working commissions to the county, and a very important one that advises us on so many issues, including the issues around autism. Also joining us is Daria Cervante, the interim CEO with the ARC of Montgomery, one of the oldest and largest organizations in the world for those with IDD and their families. I want to spend my brief time this morning during my comments in highlighting the importance of early diagnosis and support. When I was a newly elected member of this body as chairman of the Health and Human Services Committee, I was visited by Seth Morgan, Larry Bram, Abner Shapiro, and other members of the commission who talked about the critical importance of early diagnosis. Because as we know, autism can be such an asset on so many different levels if it is caught early enough, in that we can provide the right level of support for patients and their families so that they can thrive and live a fully and immersed, rich life. And it's up to us as a community to continue to do what we've done, as Councilmember Rice said, and be that model, be supportive, acknowledge the assets that these incredible folks among us are to our community. So it really is an honor and privilege to be here with all of you this morning. And I now turn it over to our friend and colleague, Councilmember Katz, to say a few words as well.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. And I too am honored to join my colleagues and community members today. Autism touches us all. Many of you have heard me say that I sincerely believe a community is a family. And a Montgomery County family must come together, continue to come together, to ensure that our mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters affected by autism are able to experience healthy, comfortable, and prosperous lives. It's our responsibility to educate ourselves about autism spectrum disorders, raise awareness with their within our communities, and provide meaningful support to people with autism and those who love and care for them. I am honored to recognize 3 incredible organizations that serve individuals with autism and their families across the lifespan. CSAC, represented by Executive Director Eric Solzano, is a nationally recognized pioneer in providing services to individuals with autism. Their mission is to enable individuals with autism to achieve their highest potential and contribute as confident members of their community. Integrated Living Opportunities, represented by Executive Director Maya Tanum, helps families create supportive communities to facilitate networks of support for adults with disabilities to enable them to live independently. And we are so very fortunate to have Officer Laurie Reyes leading the Autism, IDD, Alzheimer's, Dementia Outreach Unit in the Montgomery County Police Department. Her knowledge and dedication have provided the training and expertise within our police department, and candidly nationwide, that has been instrumental in responding to very delicate cases. This is work that has received national recognition and should. I want to personally thank the organizations and each person who have made a remarkable difference to so many of our families. And with that, I'm honored to turn it over to our friend and colleague, Councilmember Jawando.
Thank you, Councilmember Katz, and good morning to everybody. This is a great day, a great occasion. As has been said by my colleagues, everything we do, and folks that are on the spectrum have not always been a part of this, but we're showing that we believe this. We're trying to create an inclusive society where people on the spectrum, where no matter where you are, who you are, where you find yourself here in our county, in our state, in our country, that you're welcomed, that you're loved, that you're not only acknowledged, but you're accepted, and you're able to contribute to society and live a meaningful and rewarding life where you can help others and sustain your family. And for too long, folks and residents, children, adults alike that are on the spectrum were discarded. and along with other folks that are dealing with other that aren't neurotypical, were discarded and seen as something was wrong with them. And thankfully, we've moved past that time, but we know those vestiges are still there. And now we're really looking for full inclusion, not just acceptance, not just awareness, but acceptance and inclusion and participation with the many myriad of gifts. Michelle and I, as parents, we have 4 young children under 10, and we're always trying to look ahead, as I know my other colleagues here that have children and those of you on the call, and wonder what the world will be like when our children turn to adults. Will we have prepared them? Will we put them on the right track? And we think about that for all of our kids, but particularly with our daughter Addison, who is on the spectrum. Michelle and I think of this constantly. How are we best preparing her to be fully loved and embraced and accepted and contribute to society? And we work hard every day to create a kinder, more inclusive community for her and for her siblings and for every individual who's on the spectrum. We do that here on the council as well. So I just wanted to lift up a couple of groups as well, and then we'll read the proclamation. I want to personally just take a moment of personal privilege to thank Dr. Donna Henderson from the Citrix Group, who's not here today, but she is one of the people you heard Councilmember Albornoz, Council Vice President Albornoz, talk about early identification. She's one of the people who helped us 2 years ago, actually, just 2 years ago, identify our daughter that she was on the spectrum. And anyone who's gone through that process knows that it can be very frustrating. It can be very scary. You don't know what to do if you're a first-time person dealing with that, is particularly with girls. We know there's a long history of girls not being identified early. And so we had to go through all those problems. And I just want to thank her for helping us. It was such peace of mind. And for anyone who's struggling with that, who might think, I just feel compelled to say, seek an assessment, talk to the school system. We have all these experts and great organizations. That's why we're highlighting them, because there's nothing worse than feeling alone and that you can't provide what you need for your family or loved one. And so I just wanted to thank her for that. But I'm also pleased to welcome Jillian Copeland, who's the founder of Main Street, and Christopher Banks, the CEO of Autism Society, the Autism Society, who are with us today. When Jillian and her husband Scott founded Main Street in 2017, it was created out of their concern about the future of their 21-year-old son, Nicholas. And Jillian's vision to create a one-of-a-kind solution to the lack of affordable, accessible, and inclusive housing came to fruition with her husband Scott, who was a principal at RST Development. The doors of this wonderful, inclusive living and learning and entertainment space, which is just down the street from our office, opened in 2020. It describes itself as a much more than a beautiful building that benefits people with disabilities. It's first and foremost a community that benefits people of all abilities. Main Street is a community of respect, choice, and independence, and a community in which all people can thrive and that they can belong together. So really want to thank them. And then also Christopher Banks, the CEO of the Autism Society, which was founded in 1965 by Dr. Bernard Rimland and Dr. Ruth Sullivan, and many other parents of children with autism. The Autism Society is the leading source of trusted and reliable information about autism, and it's the oldest and largest grassroots organization within the autism community. Headquartered in Bethesda, the Autism Society provides advocacy, education, informational, and referral support at the national, state, and local level. So thank you to Main Street, thank you to the Autism Society and all the organizations who have joined us today for making Montgomery County an inclusive, thriving community for all of our neighbors and our family members on the spectrum and with other developmental disabilities. So I'll turn it back over to Councilmember Rice so we can read the proclamation.
Well, thank you very much, Councilmember Jawando, for that personal perspective, which I think is incredibly important to close us out. It really is about making sure that all of our kids can look forward to a very fruitful and productive life. That's what all parents aspire for all of their children. And it doesn't matter whether they have differing abilities or not. That's still our expectation. So thank you for that. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the proclamation. I apologize to my guests, but certainly please understand We've got 3 proclamations today. I would love to have you all speak. We know all the great things that you can tell us about what it is that you're doing, but I think that, again, hopefully we did you justice when it comes to sharing a little piece of the work that each and every one of you do and contribute to our overall community. So I'm going to start off with our proclamation. Whereas autism or autism spectrum disorder is a broad range of conditions characterized by differing abilities with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech and nonverbal communication, and relationship skills. And
whereas the prevalence of autism has increased to 1 in every 59 children in the United States, generating an urgency for early diagnosis that leads to timely interventions to improve the quality of life, reduce the cost of lifelong care, and assist an individual in attaining their full potential. And
whereas, thanks to the support and resources of the organizations and agencies in Montgomery County, individuals with ASD of all ages and their families receive the necessary medical, financial, and emotional resources, support, and opportunities they need for a higher quality of life. And
whereas, while autism has its unique set of challenges, to know someone with autism is to know all the wonderful, positive qualities that make them who they are, creative and imagination and ideas, and accepting of each other's differences, detail-focused, and amazingly determined and honest. And
whereas understanding the value of these positive attributes and celebrating a different way of thinking can open the door to new employment opportunities, create a more inclusive and tolerant community, and allowing us to take a moment to learn from each other about the amazing gifts we all contribute to our world. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby proclaims April of 2021 is Autism Acceptance Month, presented this 6th day of April in the year 2021, signed by all of us and our council president, Tom Hucker. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Thank God for each and every one of you. We appreciate all that you do for every single person here in Montgomery County. Thank you, guys.